pretend. Turn back the clocks, untie the knots that got me to this place. My sins turn me from who I was to someone I can't face. If I could take back the moment you were pulled away. Turn back the clocks, untie the knots and rid me of this grade. Reflection I see, a broken version of myself that's kept alive by the greed. To run me to the place where I don't think my heart would receive. See you loving for me, and I just wanna believe that I can find a solution to bring you back in my arms. But any answer that's out there is absent, unlike your scars. And it's not like I could just give up, roll over, call it a day. So I keep living in the past, can't I anyway? Any sacrifice to see you again. But how long can I really pretend? Turn back the clocks, untie the knots that got me to this place. My sins turn me from who I was to someone I can't face. If I could take back the moment you were pulled away. Turn back the clocks, untie the knots and rid me of this grade. Reflection I see, a broken version of myself that's kept alive by the greed. To run me to the place where I don't think my heart would receive. See you loving for me, and I just wanna believe that I can find a solution to bring you back in my arms. But any answer that's out there is absent, unlike your scars. And it's not like I could just give up, roll over, call it a day. So I keep living in the past, can't I anyway? Any sacrifice to see you again. But how long can I really pretend? Turn back the clocks, untie the knots that got me to this place. My sins turn me from who I was to someone I can't face. If I could take back the moment you were pulled away. Turn back the clocks, untie the knots and rid me of this grade. Reflection I see, a broken version of myself that's kept alive by the greed. To run me to the place where I don't think my heart would receive. See you loving for me, and I just wanna believe that I can find a solution to bring you back in my arms. But any answer that's out there is absent, unlike your scars. And it's not like I could just give up, roll over, call it a day. So I keep living in the past, can't I anyway? Any sacrifice to see you again. But how long can I really pretend? Turn back the clocks, untie the knots that got me to this place. My sins turn me from who I was to someone I can't face. If I could take back the moment you were pulled away. Turn back the clocks, untie the knots and rid me of this grade. Reflection I see, a broken version of myself that's kept alive by the greed. To run me to the place where I don't think my heart would receive. See you loving for me, and I just wanna believe that I can find a solution to bring you back in my arms. But any answer that's out there is absent, unlike your scars. And it's not like I could just give up, roll over, call it a day. So I keep living in the past, can't I anyway? Any sacrifice to see you again. But how long can I really pretend? Turn back the clocks, untie the knots that got me to this place. My sins turn me from who I was to someone I can't face. If I could take back the moment you were pulled away. Turn back the clocks, untie the knots and rid me of this grade.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Unplugged Unfiltered. I am Brian Clements alongside Bob Clements and alongside Chris Clements. We're just expanding the Clements clan here every single podcast. And no, I am super excited. I was telling my fiance, like, I can't tell you how excited I am to do this podcast. And Chris, I've known Chris for quite a while now. I don't even know how we actually got connected. I think it was through VFriends, honestly.
Yep.
But yeah, no, I'm super excited. Of course, we've had his art in our studio quite a while now, and it's super exciting to have you on the podcast. So, Chris, welcome, and introduce yourself a little bit to the Unplugged Unfiltered audience.
Yeah, of course. Well, first of all, thank you so much for having me. It's a total honor, total blessing to be on your guys' show. I know you've been nothing but kind, showing off the art, even though it was my first piece. To just show that in the studio nonstop is awesome. I'm an artist out of Southwest Florida, so I'm based in Southwest Florida. Have 10 plus years in the design industry, but really started taking my art seriously about 2 years ago. And I've just fallen in love with it. And it's been really a great outlet for myself to just be myself more in the design field, and putting paint to paper or digital to paper has just been awesome. So
yeah. No, it's been really fun, and there's a lot of things that I want to talk to you about and ask you about that I've seen on your Instagram, I've seen on your TikToks and stuff, and we'll get to that as we kind of move through this episode. But the first thing, and I have to shout this out, so Chris has a new print that is coming out. It's coming out February 11th. It's going to be live on Whatnot. As you guys are watching this episode, make sure you'll see somewhere up in the corner right above me, you'll see that there is a QR code that is going to take you straight to Chris's live show that he is doing February 11th. Make sure you go bookmark that show and watch it, because it is so much fun to see it go live too, because the energy that Chris has brought to what he's doing, and the people around him, it's so much fun to watch it all happen live. So again, if you guys are interested, as we're kind of going through this, I wanted to hit that out, is there's a QR code right above my head. Scan that and it'll take you to Chris's Whatnot. But Chris, let's dive in first off to the title of our thing. So we have Love and Chaos. Tell us a little bit about Love and Chaos.
Yeah. So Love and Chaos is the name of my next piece, which I have, this is a sample. So if it's getting bent around, don't worry, this is not going to anybody. But it was a painting I did, and now this is a scan of it, and there's different variations of it, which that's a different story for another day. But yeah, this main story behind Love and Chaos is right now, and I started this painting back in August.
Okay.
And then I got hit with a bunch of contract work. And so I wasn't able to get back to it till the contract work was done. And for this piece to come out right now in the day of age that we're living, and I in no way want to get political at all, right? But obviously there's a lot going on in the world, right? And there's a lot of chaos, and some people only see the darkness that's going on. And I think if we can look for love, if we can look for some good, if we can be good to somebody, go up to somebody and find something good about them, I think that's just a way to change the world one life at a time and one moment at a time. And so for those of you who don't know what my art kind of represents, I draw these robots. They're called one bots, and they all have diamond eyes. And the reason behind that is I think worldwide, diamonds are seen as a thing of value. Currency, it could be whatever, but it's kind of a symbol of value. And I kind of challenge people to put in your diamond eyes and see people through a lens of value, right? Yeah. And the cool thing about a diamond too is the way it's cut. Some people see things one way, and when you put that in, it's going to fragment your perspective. It's going to you might see more than one side of a situation, of a person. And I try to live by that. I had a hard time showing empathy for people just based on past life experiences or whatever. And so these preach to me as much as I'm hoping it helps other people.
Yeah, no, and that's awesome. And I think it's true, especially, I mean, in the times that we're living in, right? There is a lot of chaos, and there's so much division, and so having any chance of just again opening someone's eyes, right? I don't have to agree with you politically, I don't have to agree with you religiously, but we're all still human beings. And I think that what you're doing, and everything that I've seen on your Instagram, on your TikTok, if you guys don't follow him, make sure you check it out. It's all of your stuff is Clem House Art, right?
Yep.
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 And Yeah. So checking them out on all the social medias, but it's really awesome to see what you're doing. And again, we'll kind of come back to, because I have a lot of questions about some of the stuff that you're doing. And maybe you might not be able to tell us all of it, because I know some of it you can't talk to us about.
Yep.
But I have so many questions that I've been dying to ask you. And now that you're on the podcast, I feel like I have free reign.
Yeah, I have all night. I'm ready for whatever.
There you go. But tell us a little bit about your journey into art, because I know for you it wasn't the easiest, it wasn't the cleanest journey, and I think that you had some struggles. And so, of course, I asked Unplugged Unfiltered, we talked to entrepreneurs, right? And so tell us a little bit about your journey, because this is, chasing a passion without permission. What does that mean to you?
Yeah, of course. So for reference, currently I'm 33 years old. Been married for 10 years. Yeah, 10 years.
This is important. It's important.
It's very important.
How long you've been married, right? I'm just going to tell you.
Yeah, 3 kids. And so my journey goes back to when I was 19. So coming out of high school, I came from a family where I was the youngest of 3. My dad was a businessman. My brother was off to college. My sister was off to college. They all had a plant, and they were more academic. I was a BC student, but I was always dabbling in the arts. I always loved building things and doing this or that, right? And so I really wanted to go to design school. I was like, Dad, I really want to go to design school. And this is no fault to him. I've forgiven him for all this stuff already, but he didn't see design as a viable career path. Understandable. That's where he came from, right? And so I went to community college for a little bit, but I was still so interested in graphic design. And so I was a little like, this sucks. Like, I want to get into design. And I had a friend call me, and he goes, hey, I'm working at a web startup. You're interested in design, right? He didn't say, design. He said, are you interested in design? I said,
yeah.
Yep, no problem. I'm in. And so I worked a 9-to-5 internship unpaid for half a year while working a serving job, while going to school. And that's another story, going to school at night for business.
Yeah.
And so I just went all in on design. It was a moment where I was like, all right, I know this is the conviction. This is where I need to go. But I need to put all my eggs in this basket right now. Like this is chips are all in.
Yeah.
And so there would be nights where, and sorry, Dad, if you're watching this, there'd be nights where I'd go to school in the evening, and I'd stop at a coffee shop and learn design.
Yeah.
And I'd look up YouTube videos, and it was a really tough time, but honestly, it pushed me to be the best designer I could be.
Yeah.
And so luckily, like, that opportunity turned into a career, and they offered me a position. So at 19, I was starting in the design industry.
Wow.
That's awesome.
So I ended up in a great spot of having that experience, like 5 years experience, and going through that whole process. Was just incredible. So I was able to start really young.
That's awesome. And I think that goes back to last week's podcast, right? Our last week's podcast, we talked about your backup plan is killing you. Right. And I think that if you had, like, okay, well, yeah, I'm going to get into design, but I'll do that when the time's right? I'll do that when it feels just right. Would you be where you're at today? Right. Or where you're like, hey, I'm going to dive into this. Like, this is my passion. This is my conviction. This is what I want to do. And that sets you up for, it's like, I've got to make this work, because you believe in yourself, right? You believe in saying, hey, this is who I am. This is what I want to do. And you don't let that backup plan, right, kill your passion. And I think that that's really, really awesome to do. So as you when you got that internship, going back again into your family side of things, and then, you getting a full-time position there, what was that like? Let's say an entrepreneur, right, is dealing with the same thing, and they're worried, oh, well, my parents are going to disown me. Did your parents disown you?
No.
Okay.
Now that being said, there's a couple of things going on at the same time, right? So I'm going through that. So I'm kind of being like, all right, here's my path. And then my parents split when I was 2021.
Okay.
And so that was another moment of, what am I going to do here? Because I was living at
Yeah.
home. I was the only kid at home.
Yeah.
And so it was a moment of, where am I going to go? Am I going to go with mom? Am I going to go with dad? What's going on? And that was another moment of, I don't want to choose sides. So I broke everything off and I said, I'm going to go do my own thing. And that taught me how to do everything. I mean, I was off of all their bills, all their this and that, working this job, just grinding, honestly, on top of about to get married. And so there was a lot of conviction there from just of, there was obviously part of me that was kind of a rebel. You know, I was a young 20 person. I was like, I don't need help. I don't need anybody. And I had to work through that for like 10 years. And that's where this comes in, right? Of you need to learn how to love people and be around people. And honestly, this art is the most vulnerable thing you could possibly be. I mean, do. And this has opened up a whole new world for me, and I'm still working through it. I don't know if that answers the question. I'm sorry. I definitely rambled a little bit.
No, that's perfect. I mean, it's 100%. I mean, it's one of those where you never know where your path is going to take you, right? But if you chase what you're doing, right, there was other circumstances that happened in your life, but once you truly find that passion and you find something that, you know, I mean, every parent wants you to be able to have a job that actually pays you, you know, and so, but I think a lot of entrepreneurs are so worried about like, oh, well, if I chase this, right, everyone's going to doubt me. And yes, everyone's going to doubt you. I think a lot of people have self-doubt as well, but once it hits, right, once you do that, once it works, then the naysayers, it doesn't really matter what they say, right? And then the people who support you are going to support you. I think it's really awesome. So.
Yeah, of course. And now clicking back to your question about school and following your dreams.
Yeah.
I think I think you could see it now more than ever of a lot of kids that are starting to just not go to college.
Yeah.
It's becoming more popular. When I did it, it wasn't as popular. It was more frowned upon. But a lot more people are doing it. And as an entrepreneur, like I've started multiple little side hustle projects that never panned out. They fizzled. There were a lot of me doing branding and logos and websites for people. And it just didn't sustain because there wasn't a love towards it. It was something I could do, but there wasn't the love. And so this has been a project that has been the longest for me, that has been so fulfilling. And maybe it's not financially the biggest return, right? As of right now, I still work a full-time job and do all that stuff. And I love it. I'm really enjoying the journey. And so just pushing kids, especially when you have the time, go for it.
Yeah.
Like now's the time.
And I think that's something, and that is something that I definitely want to touch on is when you have the time, right? Especially, so, you know, you're married, you have kids, trying to build your dream is a little tough to do when you have a family, but you started a series and I fell in love with the series that you started to do. And I think you know what series I'm talking about. Building your dream while everyone's asleep. Tell everybody how you came up, explain what that was to everybody. And then tell us, how did you come up with that? Because I every day would get on your social media and say, okay, what did he post? Because I want to see what day 23 looked like and what day 24 looked like. So explain to everyone what I'm talking about, and then tell us a little bit, how did you come up with that idea? Because I think it was really, really cool and out of the box.
Thanks, Brian. Yeah. So it actually started, so I ran a series on my Instagram called Building My Art Dream While Everyone's Asleep. And so I did that because I wanted to show people, well, first of all, I did it because Gary Vee, who I'm a big proponent of, big follower for a long time, he's always just like, you got to post every day.
Yeah.
And as somebody who at first I was so uncomfortable on camera, like I felt so cringy, like getting out my phone and this and that. And my wife's over here, so you got to go in another room. I'm recording, you know. That's how I started. And it was super awkward at first. And so at first it was just to break that stigma. But also I really wanted to pursue this art dream and show people the process, like give them, here's what I'm working on. I can't wait to show you guys once it's done what I'm working on, and hopefully inspire one or two people to find that spark in their life and go for it. And being a dad, being somebody who does work that 8 to 5 and also has a life outside of work and has his wife, and I'm trying to make sure that that relationship's good and my kids' relationship is good, and being a father as best as I can. I'm just trying to prove that there's time.
Yeah.
Whether it be the 2 or 3 hours that you could squeeze in after 8 or 9 o'clock before you go to sleep, if you really are driven towards this goal, towards this dream, invest in yourself a little bit. You got to be a little selfish.
Yeah.
And I'm super blessed. I mean, my wife couldn't have been more supportive. I remember it was around like day 60 or something. She's like, hey, so how many days are you doing this thing? And I was like, I don't know. Like, but she would also be the same person who would be like, hey, you got to do your video on days that I didn't feel like it. And so just, it sounds lame, but like, huge shout out to my wife for being so supportive in this whole thing, this whole art dream world. She's been a rock through it. So I really appreciate it. And she'll probably watch this back at some point.
Brownie points. You got to get those brownie points before you can get them. No, I mean, and that is a big thing. I mean, it's because as a entrepreneur, right, as a builder, I think a lot of people can experience that burnout, right? And doing it for 100 days straight. I mean, that I think, and you did just over 100 days, right?
Yeah.
And that it's hard to do that and do the same thing over and over and over again. And it can be pretty exhausting, but having that support behind you. I mean, I'm building a software company right now, right? And there's so many times that I run into obstacles, that I run into things. I'm like, I don't want to do this today. And having that support around you, you know, I mean, my dad is a huge supporter of mine. Of course, my fiance is a massive supporter of mine as well. And that's what really helps me keep going. And then it's, what am I building this for? Right. I'm building it because first off, I love building businesses, right? I love being an entrepreneur, but I want to see my kids experience something that maybe I never had a chance to experience, or like, I want them to be able to truly look at it and say, okay, you know, my parents, they pursued happiness, and now I'm not afraid to take that step as well. I think it's giving them that courage. So honestly, again, I followed every single 100 days that you did it, and I think it was awesome. I can honestly tell you, I don't know if I have the power right now to actually be able to post 100 days straight of that. So yeah, huge kudos to you on that. And through that, I think, I mean, you've gained a lot of really awesome opportunities because of your social media presence. One in specific, and I don't know how much you can talk about some of the stuff that you've been doing, but I know that you were on a live at one point where you got the opportunity to connect with Gary Vee, and you know, it was something that I don't think it was like an instant, like, oh, well, I'm going to just do this. You worked towards it, and then you got the opportunity to connect with him, just like I had the same thing with Gary and Cass and Mike Lazaro. You know, I actually sat on a podcast thing that they were doing for their book. And I spent like 3 hours on there before I actually got a chance to talk to them. And from there, I've built incredible relationships with all of them. So tell us a little bit, if you can, about some of the awesome opportunities that you've been able to get from just the grind, you know, outside of maybe what you're just doing, but some opportunities that you've gotten just from grinding and putting yourself in the right position at the right time.
Yeah, of course. So I really started pursuing this art thing back in probably November of 24. And that's when I started going for it. In January of 25, I got in an accident that could have took my life. I believe God saved my life. It was literally inches from truck bed going through my neck. That's where we were at. And so there was a moment there of, obviously, like, I was able to walk away. I had some pretty bad whiplash, but other than that, I was able to be like, all right, I'm going to start this thing with no regrets. I'm going to go for it. That kind of like life flash before your eyes moment.
Yeah.
And so it was February, and I started getting back into Gary more. I always followed him. I knew of VeeFriends, but started getting back into it. And there was a show where he was like, "You got to be on this show," and he had 1,000 people on his stream, which is a ton of people.
Yeah.
And he ran a giveaway, which anyone can enter for free. And he ran a giveaway for, I think it was like 60 seconds of his time. So you could come up on the stream and give 60 seconds. Now, I entered the giveaway. That night I had a terrible stomach bug, and I was like keeled over on my couch, right? And I pressed the button, and then I see my name pop up that I won. And I was like, oh, shoot, what am I going to do?
Yeah.
And so I get scrambling, and I'm figuring it out. And I'm like, I want to pitch myself as an illustrator for his card products that are coming up, because I came from the card world. I worked in the industry for 2 years prior to that. I knew that Topps Chrome was going to be a big deal, which is a VeeFriends product that he's in. And so I shot my shot. I got up, and first of all, I met Gary a long time ago in a hotel lobby, and he couldn't have been a cooler person. He's who you see on camera, just so giving, and gave him his flowers, and shot my shot. And I said, "Hey, I'd love to be in a sketch artist." And he said, "Well, we have them for 2025, but 2026, which comes out this June, you're in. You're going to get a sketch card." And so from that moment, I could have sat back and been like, "Wow, this is cool. I can't wait for next year. This is sweet." But internally, a real like crank it up hit me. And I said, I'm going to make my goal now is to not let Gary down and bring as much value to that product as possible.
Yeah.
Meaning I want somebody, instead of pulling a card that says Clem on the back, then be like, who the heck's this kid? I want them to be like, that's sick. I got it.
Yeah.
Like I know this person and I understand it. So that's where I was like, I want to bring as much value to my one card that I'm going to put in this set. And so that really was the extra kick in the butt to push towards what I've done. And the reason I only went 100 days for the challenge was because I was getting contracted offers from VeeFriends for some upcoming projects that I couldn't show, which I'm extremely grateful for. And it was something where DJ there, he's now the creative director for VeeFriends. He reached out, and it was another one of those opportunities where he said, like, hey, we've pitched this to a couple of our illustrators. They're not really nailing what Gary wants. Do you think you could come up with a couple of options? And I'd get that. I think I got that email at like 9 p.m.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'll have it for you tomorrow. And so it was one of those, like, stay up till 2 a.m. getting this pitch deck with my concepts done. And from there it was, all right, you're in. And that's so awesome. I can't talk about that project yet. But that project led to me doing that. And then I think I've done 3 or 4 contracts with them since, awesome. Which I'm super grateful for. That team is incredible, but it's another one of those things I could have sat back. I can't have that for you tomorrow. Oh, shoot, man. I wish I would have had more time. I didn't want to stay up till 2 a.m., but you got to shoot your shots. Those doors don't always come. And so I'm super blessed. The product that's coming out, I'm grateful well, I can't say that, but I have more than one card in the product. Let's just say that. I think I can say that much. And yeah, it's just a blessing. So
we get to see some samples of this card or cards. Or
I can't show anything. No,
in a year.
It's one of those things. Yeah, I mean, it's coming out in June, so I'm sure.
I know. I am ready for it. I am a very big VeeFriends collector. I have a substantial amount of VeeFriends. A lot of probably have way too much. But I will say that Gary really got me started on it. I mean, he sent me like, I don't know, probably like 6 or 7 booster packs, right, when it came out, the Topps Chromes one. And so he got me really hooked on it. And no, I'm super excited for the release in June. It's going to be, going to be so awesome. So,
and well, I think again, to your point, we're given opportunities and they chum up. And I think the people that really are successful go, okay, screw it, I'm going to be up till 3:00 in the morning, but I'll probably never get a shot like this again. And I think that's the difference between entrepreneurs that make it, whatever that shot happens to be, and the ones that say, oh gosh, I wish you'd have given me more time. Okay. Many times when there's an opportunity, there is no more time. Okay.
Yeah.
You do what you got to do when you got to do it. And interesting enough, I think real entrepreneurs, as the pressure increases, the creativity increases.
Yeah.
Right. All of a sudden you have these inspirations, you have these thoughts. And that always happens with me when I've got to have something. I can go in early in the morning or stay extra late. And, your brain just all of a sudden gets this kind of, I don't know where it comes from necessarily, but there's a creativity that happens at that moment. Just some clarity that comes. So I think that's really cool. And the fact that I think, again, getting everybody, because that's what Brian and I try to get people to understand, Chris, is there is a grind. Okay. This stuff doesn't just happen for 99.9% of the population.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, Cass and Mike, there's a lot of shit you got to shovel. There's a lot of stuff you got to go through. A lot of it, again, you just have to work through. And I think a lot of times people that want to be an entrepreneur don't realize, man, this is a grind.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And it's not always a grind, but for the most part, it's kind of always a grind, right? You just get used to the grind, maybe more than anything else.
Yeah. I found the most successful entrepreneurs are the ones who stick at it the longest. I mean, I have a friend who's a singer-songwriter musician, right? And he's been at it for 13 years. And this year, I feel like, or this year, or maybe the year before, is when stuff is really starting to pop. And I can only imagine the amount of voices that were like, hey, man, you got to go get a real job. You got to go, you got to give up. Like, I know you like doing this thing, but it's the ones that stick with it and really just have to live with that conviction of, no, this is what I'm supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
And can fight that, because there's a lot of outside voices that don't understand, or maybe they're bitter that they didn't go for their thing,
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I think we talked about Jelly Roll before on here.
Yeah.
Oh man, he's the best.
Do you think there were ever any moments when people dissuaded him when he was in prison from singing?
Yeah.
I mean, but he's a perfect example of somebody that just, he knew what he wanted to do, knew how he wanted to do it, changed his life as a part of it. But again, he just grinded out, and I'm sure he had a lot of people that at a point that were discouraging him from doing it. But
yeah,
love his music, so I'm happy that he did it.
Yeah,
he's a blessing.
Yeah,
for sure.
Absolutely. Well, and so one of the next things, and I have to ask this question, and maybe you can talk about it, maybe you can't talk about it, but I'm going to ask the question. And I know that you've already promoted this, but and I think it's called the Encased series, right? So that is like the coolest thing that I've ever seen in my life. And I don't know if you were the one who came up with it or if someone's come up with it, but it's taking fine art and putting them into like encased, like card size, like my graded Pokemon cards, right? It's in those, and it's like a new way. And I think it brings in a brand new generation of collectors, because I collect Pokemon cards that are graded, that, and all of that, but it's a new way of art. So how did the Encased series come up? And like, explain to us that, because to me, it is completely revolutionary. I think it is the coolest thing that I've ever seen. And I think it is a brand new way of people, especially in my generation, our generation, to start collecting true, like, fine art products.
Yeah, thanks. Encased edition is really cool, and I'll show you guys some examples too. But what I found is, as somebody who is an artist, or there's a lot of people that don't really understand art or collect, maybe like people might not be interested in this, right? Yeah. Now, my other walls on this side of the camera are full of prints and frames and this and that, right? But I know there will be a lot of people that might come to my stream and they're nervous to buy this because, I got to get a frame. Where's this going to go in my house? Is it going to go? Maybe I'll just throw it in my kid's room, right? But something like this, which is the same painting, but digital.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Is handheld. It's easier to just not only support, but it makes more sense to some people. So it's the same art. This is something I came up with, and it's not just for me, but I'm doing it in a series. So this is number 1. So it says 01 on the top, has my logo on the back, has all the information about the artist, what the print's called, and numbering. This is a sample, so it says 01 or 0 on it, but this is the out of 40 hollow in an autograph. So the whole point of this is you get a blind bag, and we'll open one for you guys. I'll ship this to you guys. I don't know what's in this because I was actually bought some new machinery and I had the machine too hot and I fried the edge of it. So I need to give this one to somebody. So I'm giving it to you guys.
We love to have things that are inferior to what everybody else has. So I appreciate you thinking about it.
Of course.
Yeah.
But there's different variations of it, right? So if people are used to trading cards and the structure.
I love this idea.
Yeah. And the cool thing is too, is the best ones is black sparkle. It's out of 5, but also there's 5 one-of-one sketches in here. So I have 5 additional pieces of art that you can collect.
Yeah.
But I really wanted this to be for other artists. And I have some artists lined up, which I'm super excited about, that are wanting to implement this, who use shows like Whatnot. My whole release is going to be on Whatnot, because also I do the same rarity thing with my prints. And I almost knocked over a whole barrel of prints. But I do that with my prints.
Damaged, you can
If it
send
gets
them to
damaged,
us.
send it
It
to
will
us.
be fine.
Perfect.
We're happy to take damaged goods from you.
So there'll be 100 of these and 50 of these. So for example, this is the normal base design. It's out of 25. This is out of 12. There's only 12 of these. There's 8 of these, 4 of these. And then this is the one of one. It's called the Pearl. And so this rarity structure has been really cool for my art, because collectors like that chase, right? So everything comes
absolutely.
blind. You either get a blind barrel or a blind bag.
Yeah.
And so this was really, I'm pushing this for other artists to implement and get on Whatnot and really push their brand, because it's hard to sell art. And if someone can move 100 units of this, it can really help them out.
Yeah.
And get their name out there. And so we can open this if you guys have any questions.
Yeah.
But we'll open
let's do
this.
it.
This goes to you guys. So this is the first.
I'm gonna have Bob undo our reset real quick. Our
Okay.
computer, it every time that we do a podcast, it always has an update that has to go. So
Of course.
let's do this. This is I can't tell you how pumped I am. This is
Yeah.
crazy.
So I don't know what's in here.
Perfect.
I don't remember. I did so much randomization. I think I did this a while ago. So we'll see. From the top, you'll be able to tell a little bit. Let's see. Oh, it's backwards. So we'll flip it. So we got, looks like a hollow. So just the normal base, but this is out of 40. So you got
awesome.
29 out of 40.
That's
this is
so
coming right
cool.
your guys' way.
That's awesome. And this is going to be on the Whatnot stream, right? So you're going to be selling these. And so again, everybody, as I'm pointing above us, you have to go. And so when you're on the Whatnot, they're going to get it shipped sealed. You're not ripping them during the show. Like, you won't know until they receive it.
I will rip them live unless they tell me not to. Because I think it's really fun. I think it brings people together too, the community of it and the chase of, oh man, what'd they get? Oh man, is this one still out there? Is this one still out there?
Yeah. No, I think that's so awesome. And I will say that Whatnot takes way too much of my money. Because it's that chase, right? It's so much fun. And like I was telling Bob when we were having dinner right before our podcast, I went on Whatnot and bought a Japanese pack of Pokemon cards, right? It just, I paid $5 on Whatnot for it. And it was like, whatever. They pull it, open it up on screen, and there's a $230 ungraded card in there. I'm just like, this is awesome, and then everyone's like going crazy on it. It's such a fun experience. If you haven't experienced any type of a Whatnot stream, you have to go check it out. It is such a fun environment. I know I'm going to be there February 11th. Like, I'm going to be live and having, like, enjoying and commenting, but you guys have to check out. If you've never checked out Whatnot, if you don't really have any desire, you have to go to Chris's thing, because the environment around it's like an auction. Like, if you've ever been to a live auction, but it's virtual and it's so much fun. And the camaraderie that you have at a what, like I've never been in a Whatnot stream and people weren't just like the nicest people I've ever met in my life. Like they all just cheer for everybody. So it's so much fun.
Yeah. I mean, the relationships I've gained from those communities too. It's just incredible. Yeah. And this is going to you guys as well. So this is a random print. I don't know what's in here, but we will find out. Okay. I have to pull the top off and it'll be revealed here. So you got the Night Hour, which is the 1 out of 12. So this is coming your guys' way.
That's awesome.
It's all sealed up real nice. So this was another thing, was investing in my own like equipment like this.
That's awesome.
Yeah, this is coming your guys' way.
Thank you so much. No, I mean, we're
going to have you on next week. We would like to continue this.
Start auction off cars.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah,
actually. So as many times as you want to come on, just join us. Yeah. And we're excited.
No, it's fun. And honestly, and again, we have not, since we got your prints from the very first run that you did, like we have not had them on here. I mean, to me, it's so cool. And we love supporting entrepreneurs and people who are just chasing their dream. And again, I will say we've been sent a lot of stuff. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that's been sent here for us for the podcast, but I will say yours has always been a staple. We have never done a podcast since we started, or since we got your stuff. We've never done a podcast that didn't have a piece of your art here. And
we're really tired of these pieces. So I just want you to say heads up. So if you got one that's flawed a little bit and you're like, Bob would probably enjoy this, even though the corner's bent. I go, we're good.
I'll send it your way, Bob.
Send it my way.
But I love what you're doing. I truly, when it came down to the 100 days of building your dream while everyone was sleeping, like I thought that was so cool. And then to see what you're doing now with the Encased series, with this new Love and Chaos series, I can't help but want to support what you're doing. And again, for us, it's a little thing to have your art here, but for us, it's so cool. And I am just so excited to see where you grow and how you grow in this journey, because I think you're doing some crazy things that, are going to change the fine art collection side of things. I mean, how many people you want to collect a really cool piece of art, but like you said, maybe I don't have a place to hang it. Right. Yeah. But I have a place for a small card that's encased. Like, I think that's so cool. And as an entrepreneur, I'm just like, man, that is such an awesome idea. So I'm excited, super excited for you on that.
Thank you. Yeah, I really just wanted to offer my stuff at any price point. So obviously this whole thing started from a real painting. So the original's for sale. That's a steep price point. There will be somebody maybe one day who's like
some people, but people that are committed to having us continue to promote them. That price point should come down at some level. I'm just thinking out loud here.
Well, we'll talk after. Okay. And then the prints are a little bit more expensive, right? And then these, I think these are at a great point. And I'm going to have a bundle deal on my launch day where you can get both. And so it'll be your way of being like, I'm kind of starting to get into this print art world.
This.
I think art is one of those things, especially now with the way AI is going. Handmade is going to be just huge.
Yeah, absolutely.
That human touch, the human story is just going to resonate so much more with what we're doing. And so if I can inspire one person, this whole thing's been worth it.
Yeah.
I think, to me, kind of what you've done, because everybody kind of goes down a path and typically, and we talk about it all the time, you pivot, you got to try things. Some things work, some things don't work. But I think, again, with your story, it's a good example of, you're making pivots. There's other ways. How else can we do this? How else can we do that? And I think that's a big piece from an entrepreneur standpoint, understanding that it's not always a straight line. Mm-hmm. Okay. We all kind of have a dream of where we're going. I've pivoted in the 40 years I've been in business 1 billion times, and each pivot was painful, a little bit unsure. Yeah. A lot of the pivots didn't work, but more work than didn't work, and I think, again, you just like what you're doing with the different things you're doing, Chris, to me is like, it's just brilliant. And it's the fact that, you continue to look, and what's going to be really fun is, to me, in a couple of years or 5 years, this idea that you have now is going to be an old idea, and you will have come up with another
Probably.
which well, but to me, that's kind of the exciting part about it. You're creative and your imagination is the only thing that limits you on where you're going to go with your business. So
Yeah.
I love your work. I think you're phenomenal artist.
Thank you. And kind of tracking back to your point, Bob, of all your little pivots in your career, and now looking back, being able to be 10,000 feet and look back at my 19-year-old self and seeing my journey. The one thing is, like, even all those little pivots, the most important thing is you didn't stop moving.
Exactly.
You got to just keep moving.
Exactly.
And you can't sit there and, woe is me, blah, 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 blah. You just got to get up and go. There has to be that grit that just keeps you going. And if anything, I live in Florida now, but I grew up in Michigan, and that blue collar mentality,
kind of surprising that you moved from Michigan to Florida.
Oh, right now I'm really enjoying it. Yeah, I'm really enjoying it.
Michigan sucks right now. I'm just going to tell you. I have some dealers I talked to this morning. It's not fun in Michigan.
Yeah. I think 3 days ago was like negative 14 degrees here. So.
Oh yeah, I have family there. They're really liking it. That's to say the least.
Oh yeah. But no, I mean, it's super exciting. And again, what you've done is, again, chase that passion without the permission. And I think a lot of entrepreneurs need to, understand that it's okay to chase your passion without the permission of, I don't want to say necessarily your parents, but because there's some passions that you probably shouldn't chase without permission.
Yeah.
That are legal.
Yeah. All legal passions, you can chase those.
Yeah.
But it's one of those, people are going to doubt you, right? And people are going to throw negative things at you. I mean, I can imagine, and maybe I'm wrong, but in the world of social media, and we post a lot on social media, specifically around Unplugged Unfiltered, and we get a lot of negative comments, right?
And we hate those people.
And we don't. We do.
I hate that.
Yeah. So,
because I'm a very sensitive guy. You probably didn't know that, Chris. But I'm sensitive.
I didn't know that, and I've known him my whole life.
Your whole life.
Yeah. But I mean, it's chasing that passion without permission. And again, you have that, the negativity that comes on with social media. I mean, social media can be a very negative place. I mean, that you talk about chaos, that is the world of social media. But have you experienced any negative remarks on your social media? Have you experienced any of that? And
because Brian and I will go after him. I just want you to know that. So we're on your team. Send them to us.
I would honestly say I really haven't. I think maybe there was like one or two little things that were super dumb one-offy things. But I think that comes to show when I first started, and I was so afraid to put myself out there, and I was so fearful and felt awkward. You're thinking people are going to call you out and being like, what a loser, but honestly, I think when people see people that are authentic, I hope I come across as authentic and real to people. It's very obvious to spot people who are fake. People can resonate with that and be like, okay, this guy, he's not just some like 20-year-old single dude working off his parents' money, going for his dream that we know is backed by mama and dada, but he's really working for it on these after hours. That's why I labeled it that long journey of working my art dream while everyone's asleep. I mean, I was proving like, hey, if you're going to do it, this is the only time I have this little window that I have to get a lot done. And so I'm bringing you along. And so I think people saw that, and I think it resonated with a lot of people too. And so I didn't get too much negativity, thank God.
That's awesome.
But I think it also helped me break through the fear of putting myself out there. Because who knows, if that first post went and I got 10 comments of loser, 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 I probably wouldn't have continued.
But and it's one of those, like, so I will say I posted something like 3 weeks ago, and we had like 70 some interactions with it within the first hour. Of the 70 plus interactions, 68 of them were dislikes on the. I'm like, what did we do? Like, anyway,
we needed more of your dad.
But
that's what they said. You need to let your dad talk.
We need more Bob. In
That's
this
what
one.
it is.
I think
actually
be
bots.
I think it was 100% Bob related.
I
to-
went on.
Yeah.
I go like, okay, I got to change the theme on this whole thing.
But with that, like it's one of those. I saw that and I was like, it was discouraging, right, for a minute. But when it came down to it, the way I looked at it, and as I kind of did some digging, and honestly, one of Gary V's thing, it goes, a negative reaction is still a reaction.
Exactly.
Right. It drives. And that video went from having like 400 and some views with a very high interaction rate to, I think it ended the end of that week, like the week that it was up, it had like, I don't know, 18,000 views. I was like, hey, you know what? I'll take negative over, and
see if it's as bad as what they said it is.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. So, it's one of those, I didn't look at it as a failure. I looked at it as, okay, there's something in here that people didn't like. Right. And now I have to adjust what I'm doing to make it where maybe people like it more, or honestly, I've kind of built more content around it because it gets more interaction. Right. Yes, there's a lot of people who don't like it, but there were still so many people who viewed it who didn't not like it, but didn't like it. So I was like, maybe, and it's a lot of the things that we've talked about, right? If one person can take something away from this that will make their lives better, right? That will make them maybe chase their passion. I'll take all of the negativity that goes out, everybody who throws anything negative at me, to that one person who hears it and says, you know what? I'm going to chase my dream. I'm going to believe in myself. I'm going to chase this passion without permission. The negativity, that's fine. I'll take the lashes to help one person see their dream. And that's something that as I've been looking at the Love and Chaos series, as what you've been pushing out, I think, and one of the things I will say, and you might have not done anything, it might not have been meant for that, but I have taken so much of the mental warfare that is going on. And I think there's so many people who battle depression, who battle ADHD. And I see that in this Love and Chaos print that you're doing.
Mhm.
And it's so encouraging to me because, mental health to me is something that's very, very near and dear to my heart. I started a nonprofit called the Code Family, which is all focused on mental health. And, and so I think with the Love and Chaos, it's going to help. I truly believe it's going to help so many people in a different way than what maybe you intended. And maybe that was something how you intended it, right? To kind of focus around mental health or bring in that feeling of mental health. But that's really how I've taken it. And I think that's the beautiful thing about art, right? Is you had a thought, you had something in your mind and say, okay, this is how I'm going to bring it to life. But then people can interpret it based off of the core message. And your core message is love and spreading that seeing through the diamond eyes, right? Seeing the value. And I think it's just truly incredible. I'm going to get off of my soapbox now and let someone else talk. But I think it's truly incredible with what you're doing. And I'm so happy that we can support you in any way that we can support you.
I think too, again, and one of the things that, as you were talking, I think, especially with what you're doing and sometimes what anybody's doing as an entrepreneur, I think many times there are people who just don't understand, why would you do this? Why would you go in this direction? I always laugh. I've had my business 40 years. My mom and dad have passed many, many years ago. They were farm people. I would tell you that on the day they died, they still didn't understand what I did and how I got paid. Okay. But it was okay. They were okay with what I did. They just didn't go like, I don't know why anybody would pay you for your advice. I knew as a kid, it wasn't that good of advice, but they still supported and they were encouraged. But I think a lot of times you can't expect people to always understand what you're doing, and the people that really love you, they may not understand it, but they're still going to support you and they're going to care for you. And I think that's the other piece. Not everybody has to understand it. The people that are really important in your life won't matter whether they understand it or not. They're just there to support you.
Mhm.
And I think, again, it's kind of what you're talking about. There's always going to be some haters, out there, and you just can't let that distract you from what you're doing. And again, I think you obviously have a passion for what you're doing. You can see it in the work that you do, Chris. And I'm with Brian. I think, again, it's really, I love your work. I love just how it looks, how it feels. I mean, and I'm not an art guy, but your stuff is cool.
Thank you.
All of his art in his house came from Hobby Lobby.
Yeah.
And there was
And basically I took a color swatch and said, does this actually match close enough? Let's buy the big picture and put it on the wall. Let's make that.
This doesn't match too much.
It
So
would
I'm
match.
sorry.
I would paint my wall to make that work.
there you go.
Okay, that kind of really bright color you have in there, that'd be a great wall color.
So tonight
you
on Unplugged Unfiltered, we have a challenge.
I don't care what it is.
Next week, we're going to see if Bob's wall matches the art.
It would be. I wouldn't match the art. It would be complimentary.
There you
to
go.
the art.
There you go.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Well, as we're kind of wrapping up, Chris, I want to give you a moment. Shout out again. We've talked about it, and I'm going to talk. We're going to promote the Whatnot stream, but shout out, tell everyone kind of what they can expect. Again, we have the QR code right here. It will be in the description of this. So if you go back and watch the replay, the description will have the Whatnot link, as well as the link to Chris's website. But Chris, kind of as we're closing out, tell everybody, kind of promote yourself. Let's hear your promotion. Take as much time as you want. I want to hear you promote
seconds.
yourself. Yeah.
Yeah.
Take as much time as you want, and you've got 30 seconds.
And clock starts now. So next Wednesday, the 11th at 8 p.m. Eastern. I know this is Central Time that you guys usually roll off of.
Yeah.
This print, Love and Chaos, is going to launch. So I'm launching it on my Whatnot channel. It's Clemhouse on Whatnot. Go to the QR code. You go to any of my socials, you'll find the link, or go to Whatnot. Whatnot is an incredible platform if you've never been on it, for seamless transactions. And it's a live show where you get to purchase encased edition versions of pouches like this.
Go ahead and open up another one and send it right
I got that box is full of them right there.
Just from a promotional standpoint, I don't think it's a bad idea to open another.
Okay. So these will be available at $25. So these are the encased editions. So we'll rip them live, ship them to you the next day. And then also my prints are all randomized in these blind. These things are heavy duty. And that was one thing I would really wanted to invest in, some good shipping equipment. So I'm super pumped about this stuff. There's 50 prints available, 100 encased editions. These are going to be $45, but I'm bundling them together for $55, which is a steep discount. And after the Whatnot show, they will be available on my website, which is clemhouseart.com. I have a couple things up there right now, but really, I'm super excited about this show. I think it's really a cool thing to see more artists. Hopefully they can pivot this way of selling their art on Whatnot. I did the launch of the print that is on your desk on Whatnot and sold out. And I've seen artists who have been like, what do you mean you've sold 50 prints? This is your first thing you've done. And it's because of this rarity structure that comes from the card world. And now this takes a lot of work on my end of I've had to source the right printer locally, and I hand sign and number everything and making sure the logistics of everything makes sense and making cool art. Hopefully people like the different versions of the prints that are coming out, because they still resonate the same art in general. I'm really excited about it. I cannot wait for next week. There's been so many moments where I've wanted to push the date up, but I've just been sticking to it. So February 11th, if you have the time, jump in. Even if you don't purchase anything, come say hi. Say you came from the podcast. I'd love to know that just see what's going on. It's going to be awesome.
So it's going to be next Wednesday at the exact same time our podcast is. We're not going to hold that against you. And actually what we're going to do, because I don't have a podcast actually planned for next week. So what we're going to do, we are going to live stream with all of our TikTok followers, Facebook. We're going to do a live stream
for a free print.
No, we already got that.
I'll get another one.
Okay, all right. So don't open it, Lo. I don't want to know.
No, so we're gonna live stream this, and we're gonna have reactions to what is being opened, to the people, to the conversations. We will be doing kind of a third party commentary, to speak for your Whatnot stream. So that is what next week's podcast episode is going to be.
That's super cool.
We're going to be 100% locked in to Chris's Whatnot thing. We'll have the Whatnot live on our podcast as long as Chris is okay with that. And then we're going to be reacting live to it. And then if you see something that's coming up that you want to, then we'll make sure we have the QR code so you can jump straight to it. But yeah, we are going to encourage everybody. And I cannot say that we won't be purchasing stuff ourselves.
And of course,
for traveling, but I'll let you have my credit card if you find something that's cool.
Perfect. Well,
I feel like now I'm obligated to spend money with Chris.
Okay, Chris. So that that original print or the original,
I got it hanging right here. It's waiting for a new home.
That's great.
There you go. There you go. So, anyways, we have Bob's credit card.
What color am I going to need to do my wall as a complimentary color?
It's going to work on any wall.
All right, I love that.
So awesome. Well, thank you guys so much. We're going to end it right here. Chris, thank you so much for joining us. This has been such a fun episode.
And legally in most states, there can never be more than 3 Clementses together in a location. Yeah. So for the most part,
luckily we're virtual.
We're virtual.
So it's not a problem.
We can never meet all together.
No,
exactly.
No, we can't. No. So, but no, it's been an honor to actually be able to have you on the podcast. This is, as long as you're up to it, this is not going to be our only podcast that we do, because I would love to have you back sometime after your live stream to say, hey, what were your experiences? What was it like? And maybe what can another entrepreneur experience?
Yeah,
or how can they push that? Because again, I've been on live stream from the buyer side or Whatnot from the buyer side, but I've never been on there from the seller side. And then I think there's a lot of business opportunity, entrepreneurial opportunity when it comes to Whatnot. So I would love to have that kind of conversation. But I'm so excited for next Wednesday. And again, I'm going to be sitting here in the podcast studio.
I'm going to be in a Sky Club, probably in Atlanta.
I'm
traveling.
There you go. Well, I will be here. Unfortunately, Bob doesn't have the commitment level that I do.
So, if I can get on at a Sky Club, I'll be there.
So, but no, awesome. Well, Chris, thank you again so much. Thank you for everyone who's been on here. Honestly, it's been a great show. We've had a lot of viewers. Our TikTok stream has been going crazy on this as well. So, Chris, I want to thank you, and I want to thank everybody here. But again, before we end this, I'm going to give everybody 30 seconds. Right above me, at least on my screen, right above me is a QR code. Scan that QR code, bookmark the Chris's Whatnot live stream for his release of Love in Chaos. And if you're not there, we don't want to see you on this podcast ever again. No, I'm just kidding.
That's kind of harsh.
I know, but no,
we're talking about love here, right?
We are, and we're gonna love Chris's work. And if you're not gonna love it, then we don't like you.
No, we do care for you,
no, but
not that much.
But
we do care.
But anyways, we appreciate everybody. Chris, again, thank you so much for spending some time with us. We will see you guys all next week, and you guys will see Chris again next week as we stream his Whatnot live stream. As he releases Love and Chaos. So, Chris, thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks
so much
Chris.
for the space. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, it's been a blast. And until then, we'll see everybody next week live here on Unplugged Unfiltered.
Reflection I see, a broken version of myself that's kept alive by the greed. Brought me to the place where I'd